Yeah. We really boxing. Who wanted the baddest? Let's see.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weeping and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show. This is BVO. This how it's finna go. I'ma throw some jabs. Make them think my punch is weaker than I hook his ass. This the ring, not the kitchen, but I'ma cook his ass. Me and him, that's the pro versus the rookie class. All my life I had to fight, but I still love it. Me and BVO got moves that you can't steal from us. And these haters be throwing shots, but I don't feel nothing. I ain't gonna lie, shit, they alright, but we a little rougher. Step up for the title and face your rival, this ain't no little tussle. Bet I be no bird, being chicken to get your feathers ruffled. Footwork, I'm dancing around my opponent like the Cupid shuffle. Good work, bodies hit the flow, they can't move a muscle. The upside is we ain't in the streets, shooting and shooting up. Catch me in the ring, sticking, moving and suited up. I know everybody can eat, but I ain't full enough. Oh, you said it's smoking some beef? I guess I'm pulling up. Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weeping and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy BVO. It's your boy D Free. And you watching the first episode of Rolling with the Punches, man. Brand new podcast. We getting everything started. So how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I can't complain at all, man. I'm good. We starting this new chapter. I mean, it just the beginning. I mean, we came together about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it seemed like it's a good chemistry, and I mean, I see nothing but great things happening in both of our future. So I mean, this is something that we talked about off the scenes, and we're gonna go ahead and go forward. This is the new chapter in both of our podcasts is called Roll with the Punches. So y'all will start seeing that title for our new podcast.
Oh yeah, hey, you know one thing I gotta do, I always gotta mess with D Free. I found a special clip for him.
Don't know shit about boxing. Don't know.
Hey, rest in peace to the Black Mamba, man. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba, man.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot to talk about, man. Salute to my man Green, like saying Mike Tyson set Errol up with them ear mushroom. Man was mushroomed out. I don't know if he was mushroomed out, bro. What you think? What you think about that, D Free? You think he was mushroomed out?
Hey man, hey. All I know is that man looked a little spaced out. I don't know if he was dehydrated. I don't know if he was on something. I'm just gonna chop it up with the fact that he might have been dehydrated from the weight loss or whatever. I mean, but no excuses made. He not making no excuses, so I'm not gonna make none for him.
Hey, you know the funny thing about it, man. I can tell you this, man. I think it's so crazy how the WBO and the WBC is moving, man. What you think about what they're doing, man?
I mean, well, we already knew that the WBO do pretty much whatever Bob Arum does or whatever Bob Arum wants to be done. And the WBC, Mauricio Sulaimán, we already know he do pretty much whatever he want to do. I mean, although he is the president of the WBC, but it's like he don't even abide by his own rules. He'll make rules, and then if he see something to try to benefit his people, that's the Mexican fan base and the Mexican boxers for the most part, he'll change up and he'll go ahead and do something that nobody's expecting to happen. So I mean, I believe a lot of those guys is doing whatever they can do to get that almighty dollar in their pocket. As long as that money keep coming their way, they're going to do whatever they got to do.
Sorry, I don't know.
What's up?
I think I might have cut out too. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
You froze up for a second.
Yeah. You know the funny thing is, salute to my brother Vic in the chat. He said maybe he was just sorry as F, maybe. Salute to my man WMP WTF. He said boxing is parallel to the streets. There's no love in the rings. I think, you know what, and I don't like to bring this up. I think it's funny how this only happens to like the black fighters, man. Like I don't know, D-Free. I'm not trying to play the race card, but Jesus Christ, man, they let Canelo do whatever he wants. I mean,
that's how they roll. That's how they roll. They let him do what he want, and it only the black fighters for the most part gotta do everything by the book. They gotta be on the straight and narrow. Everybody else can bend the rules here, bend the rules there, and they pretty much turn a blind eye to it. But when it comes to the black fighter, it got to be by the book. If it's not by the book, they find a way to pull that title from them, or pull the opportunity for them to get a title shot.
And you know the funny thing about it, why would you tell Jamal Charlo you're gonna be the WBO champion when you enter the ring, but the moment once the fight starts, we're stripping you? I thought
that was Jamel, not Jamal.
I mean, sorry, Jamel. My mistake, yeah. Jamel. Like that's a slap in the face, man. I can't believe that, man. What you think about that?
Was it the WBO or was it the WBC that said they was going to pull him?
The WBO said they're going to take his belt. They're going to award Tim Tszyu the champion at 154.
I mean, it is what it is, and like I said, they Bob Erm. That's the Bob Erm's belt. I mean, whatever Bob Erm orders, that's what the WBO do. And so I mean, Tim Tszyu, Tim Tszyu is not I don't think he's a top ranked fighter. I think he's a DAZN fighter. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's on DAZN.
Yeah, he's on DAZN. Yeah, he's on DAZN. But they've been pushing for him to be champion for a long. I think they wanted the money. I think it should come down to them wanting the money. I hate to say it that way, but it seemed like it's all about money because Tim Tszyu is paying some heavy sanctioning fees. I think he paid like, I want to say 20% his last few fights, and these are for like non-title fights. He's paying 20%. That's quite a bit of money.
Well, but I mean the sanctioning fees is usually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's usually 30%. The sanctioning fee is usually 30%, if I'm not mistaken.
See, so, I was just reading that off of Boxing World News was saying that, but man, that's a lot of money, man. You fighting for them. I mean,
yeah, for the most part, that's one of the reasons why Tank Davis said I don't want those belts. When Cambosa tried to fight him before he fought Devin Haney, he was like, man, I'll fight you, but I don't want those belts. Because you gotta, if you think about it, like right now, Terrence Crawford undisputed, Devin Haney undisputed. Mm-hmm. Their next fight, if for Bud Crawford to defend his title, he would have to pay 30% for each one of those sanctioning bodies. So that's what 120% of his purse. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know if you're talking about big blunts, it's not 3% anymore. That's like in the 90s, man. Like it's really it's not like that no more. They it fluctuates because they make you pay for those silver titles. I don't know if you heard of the silver titles.
So they make you pay for every belt, every belt. Matter of fact, I take it back. They make people you pay a sanctioning fee once you become ranked. Once you ranked in the top 10. Every fighter that's in the top 10 pay a sanctioning fee. Now, it's not as high as holding the belt, but you pay a sanctioning fee. And a lot of people don't know that. But once you ranked in the top 10, And each sanctioning body, each one of those sanctions, like if you ranked in the top 10 in the WBC, you're paying a sanction fee. If you ranked in the top 10 in the IBF, you're paying a sanctioning fee, and so on and so forth. Each one of them, you pay a sanctioning fee once you're ranked in the top 10 and you become a contender.
For sure. Hey, you know what? Salute to my man Greg, like saying press like. Salute to my man Greg, like he said, yo, Mike Tyson set our boy Errol up with that box of mushrooms and weed. No, he just got beat up, bro. He just got beat up. Salute to my man Vic, what he said, the black man, y'all love good old Al Heyman. Pause.
Okay, so it's not 30%, it's 3%. It's 3%.
Oh,
3%.
okay. I thought you said 3% too. My bad.
I knew it was a 3. That's why I said don't quote me on it. I knew it was a 3 in there, but I thought somebody had said 30, so it's 3%. But still, 3%. even still, 3%, you paying with all 4 belts, you paying 12% of your purse.
That's a lot of money.
That's more
million.
That's more than what you pay your manager. The manager gets like 5 or 10%.
Yeah. He said Al Heyman bends over. Hey, Vic, you can't be talking wild like that in the chat, bro. Over for Canelo upon request. Don't forget that part. Salute to my man, Vic. Vic, you always getting in here talking wild, bro.
Trap said, Floyd said you can get an adjusted rate. I mean, you probably can, but it probably depends on the fighter. If you somebody that brings in a lot of money, they probably do let you adjust the rate. But if you somebody that don't bring in a lot of money, they want their percentage.
No, you was right, Big Blunts. My bad. I misspoke, man. My bad. I misspoke. Salute to my man, Trap Media. He said black fighters should only fight for the IBF and the IBO, American sanctioning bodies. The others bodies have no respect for us. You know what's funny? You say that. I understand you saying that because a lot of great fighters, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali had the IBF. But to tell you the truth, man, it really don't matter what belt the guys fight for, because at the end of the day, man, you can't take those belts to the bank. Like, you just can't take those belts to the bank.
Larry Holmes was the first fighter to have the IBF once it became a actual belt. Larry Holmes in 1984. Larry Holmes was the first one to get it. They actually asked Larry Holmes to be their champion because Larry Holmes had just dropped the WBC, if I'm not mistaken. He had just dropped the WBC because they wanted him to fight somebody, and he wanted to fight Michael Spence. Was it Michael Spence? No, Leon Spence. He wanted to fight Leon Spence. He wanted to fight Leon Spence. Yeah, he beat him. He wanted to fight Leon Spence because they was paying him $10 million to fight Leon Spence, but to fight the mandatory for the WBC, I think he was only getting like $3 million. And he was like, nah, I want to fight Michael Spence. They paying me more money. And Don King said, well, I can give you 5 million. He was like, nah, they giving me 10 million to fight Leon. I want to fight Leon. And so he fought Leon. They didn't sanction that fight. He fought Leon anyway. And then right after he fought Leon, I think like a month later, he dropped the belt. And then the IBF came to him and said they wanted him to be the champion. And he was the IBF champion when he fought, I forgot who was the person he fought right after that. And he was the IBF champion. But the one that I say the IBF, all of them are crooked in their own way. But the IBF are the only ones that I could say, for the most part, follow their rules. For the most part, they follow their rules.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is, we definitely got to talk about this. What do you think about Devin Haney not getting an opportunity to go to 140 and still keep his belt? And it kind of makes no sense because now I guess Shakur Stevenson, they're going to give him a 50-50 split versus Devin. And I'm thinking if that's the case, why would they try to strip Devin and Shakur turn down the purse split? The purse split was 75-25. Like, how in the world? Go ahead.
No, I will say, well, the first offer was Devin Haney offering Shakur Stevenson a fight. It wasn't a mandatory fight. Shakur wasn't a mandatory at that time. Shakur went to the WBC and petitioned to become the mandatory and get a higher split. And so they granted him the mandatory. I don't know what the split was that they granted because I never heard what the split was. It might have been 50-50. I don't know. I know that's what he wanted, but I don't know if they granted him the 50-50. But he went to them to petition to become the mandatory, and they granted him the mandatory. and Devin Haney said he was fighting Regis Prograis, and so they said, well, we're going to put you in recess and take the belt from you, and we're going to put the belt on the line for Shakur Stevenson to fight the next highest rank in the WBC, which I believe is Lomachenko.
Frank Martin's number 2. And Frank Martin's number 2.
Yeah,
so,
Frank Martin number 2.
You know, the funny thing is, it seems like if that's the case with the WC, why even have a purse bid? If you can just go around the WC and get a better deal, like work with them, negotiate with them directly. I mean, what's the purpose of the whole purse bid?
Because what that does is, okay, yeah, the WBC petition him, say the WBC say it's going to be okay. They say it is 50-50. Okay, so say the WBC say, okay, you're the mandatory, and the split is going to be 50-50. Devin Haney don't have to sign. He has a time limit to sign and agree to that. If they don't agree to it, then it goes to a purse bid. And once it goes to a purse bid, now the purse bid it goes to a purse bid. Whoever the highest bidder takes that fight. But now Shakur is set with the mandatory split. He only gets the mandatory split. He don't get the 50-50 because it went to a purse bid. They couldn't agree. It goes to a purse bid.
Hey, salute to my man Trap Media saying everybody don't have Jay Prince applying pressure. And you know what's it's funny because Jay Prince has been in boxing a very long time. A lot of people don't know that was Floyd Mayweather's manager, SOG Ward's manager. Salute to my man Marky Dan. I think it's just funny because I think Jay Prince is making good deals, but you know what? I just hate Jay Prince as a person. I think he's a slime ball person. But what he's doing for Shakur is great because I don't know what Shakur has done at 135 to deserve a 50-50 split. What you think about that, man?
He hasn't done anything at 135 to deserve a 50-50 split, but I think because of his name and his following on the national stage, they feel like he has a big enough name where he doesn't deserve to get a regular mandatory split. Now, I still don't believe he should have got 50-50, but I mean, if that's what they said he deserved, then that's what they say he deserved. I don't care. I'm not getting no money from none of these guys, so I can care less what they get paid. But,
hey, you always say that, bro.
Hey, I mean, it's true. I don't get money from these guys. I just want to see the fight. But if the money is what causing these people not to fight, then we got to sit here and we got to figure out, okay, who has a better leg to stand on, because this fight is not being made because of the money. One person want more money, the other person think that he shouldn't get that money. So you're like, okay, who has a better leg to stand on? I mean, we all know that outside of Oscar Valdez and Jamel Haney, Shakur Stevenson really hasn't fought anybody. But Devin Haney, he up until he fought Loma, he got names on his resume, but those guys was at the end of their career. They wasn't really no big time fighters at 135. I mean, he had Gamboa after Terrence Crawford had already knocked him out, after Tank Davis had already knocked him out. He had already been beat up by a few other people before he fought Devin Haney and Tank Davis. So Gamboa wasn't, I mean, he's a name, but he wasn't nobody that you say, okay, yeah, I beat Gamboa. And then he fought Linares. Linares had already been knocked out 5 times. He's a name, but he was 35, 36 years old. He's at the end of his career as well. And then he fought Jojo Diaz, which was a guy that came up from 126, then 130. And then he fought Devin Haney. And that was, he pretty much was forced to fight Devin Haney because he was supposed to fight Ryan. Ryan pulled out, and Devin Haney was like, well, I want to fight you. You're my mandatory. And he wasn't trying to take that fight. So Devin Haney had to pay him more money because he said the only way he would take the fight is if he was to get paid the same amount that Ryan was going to pay him, which I think was 1.5. So he paid him 1.5, but Jojo Diaz is a name, but he didn't do anything at 135. So then he fought Fortuna. Fortuna is a name, but Fortuna is washed. He's old too. So
yeah,
that's what I said. So when you look at it, neither one of them has a great resume. Devin Haney has more names on his resume, but neither one of them have a great resume. But if you had to say who has the better resume, you would give it to Devin Haney because he fought his whole career at 135. Shakur Stevenson just moved up and he fought somebody that nobody knew who he was.
Salute to my man Trap Media said they did more TV numbers than Haney was their argument. Salute to my man Teach. But this is the thing I think that's being missed. Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are ballroom fighters. These are guys who are not stars, who I don't think anybody knows, but I'm going to pivot and talk about this because I really think what they're doing is uninteresting because at the end of the day, if they're going to fight, they need to fight. I mean, because we didn't hear Regis Prograis say, sign a contract. Then I heard Regis Prograis say, if the money ain't right, I'm not accepting it. At the end of the day, man, the best must fight the best. And that goes into what we were talking about. So I wanted to ask you this, man, and you've been around boxing your whole life. Did Derek James fail Errol Spence?
Do Derek James say what?
I said, did Derek James fail Errol Spence?
No, I wouldn't say he failed him. I wouldn't say he failed him at all. I mean, he can't get in the ring and fight for him. And Errol Spence, the only one that really knows how his body feels going into that ring. So if Errol Spence felt some type of way and he kept that from Derek James, that's not on Derek James. Derek James would never know. I mean, you can look at him and say, hey, he don't really look right. But if that man's saying, hey, I'm good, I mean, all you can go by is what he tell you. Derek James not a doctor.
Well, that's what I say to that. The thing I'm saying about that with Derek James, I think is so crazy is because, man, Errol Spence shouldn't have been at that press conference, bro. He shouldn't have been at that press conference. I mean, he was beat up. I mean, come on, D-Free. Let's be real, man. If that was our fighter, we would have declined to do. You already did it. He did the after the fight interview for him to get up there on the stage by himself, and then think about it. Derek James wasn't even with him. I mean, if you think about it, one of the things that kind of got me was the fact that Errol went to go shake Bud's hand, and Bud gave him a hug.
No, Derek James was there.
What I'm saying, no, I'm not saying he wasn't there. I'm just saying, look how far he was apart. I thought after a beating like that, he should have been sitting right next to him with his arm around him. That's like his son, man.
No, I mean, you got Errol Spence's father sitting right there in the crowd. I mean, he ain't gonna sit there and baby him. I mean,
oh, come on! I'm not saying
Errol Spence, he was like, man, he was the better man.
I love how you do that, D3. Now you babying him. Come on, bro. I'm not saying baby. He just took the beating of his life. He took.
I put it this way. So even though Derek James was sitting on the stage with him, and Derek James was sitting right there beside him on the stage, he did more than what daggone Ryan Garcia whole team did. Ryan Garcia whole team left him out there by himself. His trainer wasn't there. His two promoters wasn't there. The only people that was there was his mother and father. That was the only people that was there. They left him stranded.
I just say this, man. When I look at that, the fact that Errol went out there, he went to shake Bud's hand. Bud gave him a hug. Bud gave him his belts back. When Errol was about to leave, he went to put his hand out again, and Bud hugged him. I think after a beating like that, I think you really, really got to show like, yo, I know you did your best. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking that. I just feel like he was up there by himself. And I thought the kid was up there by himself.
No, I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I didn't see it that way. Like Derek James was sitting right there beside him. I could see if Derek James wasn't on the stage, but he was sitting there right there beside him. It's just the way that the way that the camera was angled, it looked like Errol Spence was sitting by himself. But when they zoomed out, you saw Derek James sitting right there beside him in the next chair over. He was in the next chair over. But I mean, everybody does a post-fight interview unless they get sent to the hospital. Errol Spence didn't get sent to the hospital. So
Errol didn't go to the hospital after that? You don't think he went to the hospital after that?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't hear that about him going to the hospital. I don't know if he did. He didn't go right away because he did the post-fight interview. When Lomachenko lost, his ass sat in the back. He sat in the back, and then he went to the hospital. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, all I say is I'll say this, man. At the end of the day, what you're saying is very true. I'm just more saying the fact is the kid got the beating of his life. And the fact that he up there on that stage, I just thought he shouldn't have did the post interview after getting beat like that. Bro.
What it shows is he's a man. He took his beating like a man. The man beat me. I'm not gonna sit there and tuck my tail and run away. He beat me. Okay. He said, yeah, he was the better man tonight, but I want my rematch. That's what he said. So,
he said, I feel what you're saying. And let me ask you this, just to ask you on this point. Why didn't we see the towel thrown? Tell me that. Why didn't we see the towel thrown, D? That made no sense. The towel should have been thrown. Like, if you think about it, let me say this.
See, that's the thing.
Let me frame it for you. If you think about it, let me frame it for you. After the third round, we all know that, Bud could have got him out of there. It seemed like Bud was playing with his food, so to speak, like moving them peas up and down the plate. I think he carried him the last few rounds. And if you think about it, I feel like Bud took some heat off them punches at the end. You don't think so?
I don't know. I wasn't in the ring. I can't.
I'm saying you watched it. You didn't see Bud kind of took it easy on him.
It's a totally different thing from you watching it and you being in the ring. You don't know what kind of fire that was coming back. We don't know how hard Errol Spence was still punching. Errol Spence could have still had steam on it. So Bud was like, I'm not going to sit there and get caught by a shot that Errol Spence hit me with, because Errol Spence can punch. So he like, man, I'm not going to get caught by a shot. He played it smart. And when he was able to get him out of there, he got him out of there.
Hey, salute to my man Marky Dan. He said Derrick James is supposed to know his fighter better than anyone else. Salute to my man AB. Salute to my man D1. Salute to my man. What do you say? Salute. NPF WTF. That's my TYT family. He said, what it do, fam? He said, if Errol felt like he wanted to face the music, I can respect that. But to me, he should have been on his way to the hospital, not answering questions. See, that's a fact. That's what I'm saying, D-Free. He was beat to death. It wasn't even like he was hurt. He was beat to death. That's
what y'all see. But like I said, you don't know how that man is feeling. Yeah. And when the referee stopped it, the man looked at the referee like, what are you doing? He wanted to keep fighting. He looked like
Martin when Martin fought Tommy Hearns.
Regardless of how he looked, what I'm saying is that man wanted to keep fighting, and he didn't get knocked out cold where he was out on his feet. That man was still trying to fight, and the referee stopped him. He was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And
I remember seeing that.
So
he didn't quit. Like, he didn't quit. I'm not saying he quit. I'm just saying but let me ask you this, D-Free. How often do we see beatings like that at this level? Honestly.
A lot. I see a lot of beatings like that. Y'all forgot about the daggone David Morrell when he put that dude in a coma?
Oh,
that fight should have been stopped. David Morrell looked at the referee, was like, "You not gonna stop this fight? Okay, I'm gonna put his ass out." David Morrell went over there and helped that man to his corner. After he knocked him out, he helped him to the corner. Errol Spence didn't look like that.
I see what you're saying.
We saw Tyson Fury with the second fight with Deontay Wilder. We saw how Deontay Wilder would look. Deontay Wilder didn't want his corner man to throw the towel in. He fired his corner man because he didn't listen. He was like, "No, don't throw the fucking towel in." He threw the towel in anyway, and he got fired. Mm-hmm. So, we don't know how these fighters are. A lot of these fighters take this shit serious, and some of them are willing to die in the ring. Deontay Wilder said, "I'm willing to die in the ring. If that's what happened, that's what happened. I made peace with my family and everybody. They know when I go out there, this might be the last day that y'all see me." So a lot of them guys take it serious.
D-Free, that's cold-blooded, bro. To tell somebody this might be my last day.
But some of those guys are warriors like that. That's how they carry themselves. So I can't say that Derrick James should have threw the towel in, because we don't know what they discussed before the fight, during the fight. We don't know if Errol Spence said, "No, look, do not throw that fucking towel in." We don't know what he said. We just know when they put the camera on him, we heard what Derrick James said to Errol Spence. That's all we know. But we don't know when the camera wasn't on him.
Hold on, I'll be reading a couple of these comments real quick. He said, hold on 1 second. He said, that wasn't Earl. D1 said that wasn't Earl in the ring. That wasn't Earl in that ring. Bud gets my respect. I, however, think a rematch would go much different. At the end of the day, D3, you got to be drunk, bro. He don't deserve a rematch. You don't get beat to a pulp and get a rematch. You don't deserve a rematch. It's just like Canelo didn't deserve a rematch with Bivol. I mean, he might get one because they made some big money.
I wouldn't say he don't deserve a rematch. I wouldn't say that because
D-Free, it wasn't even a competitive fight. It was a one-sided beat.
But at the same token, a lot of people saying even Bud Crawford said that wasn't the Errol Spence that I'm used to seeing. Something was off with Errol Spence. Bud Crawford even said that out of his own mouth. He stayed at the weight class too long. He probably was dehydrated. So if a man is dehydrated, you're going to see things like that. If a man is drained and he's dehydrated, you're going to see types of fight like that. So we don't, like I said, we don't know. I mean, they negotiated a rematch. They know one of them was going to lose. It was a possibility one of them get knocked out. They already had negotiated a rematch. So for you to say he don't deserve a rematch, nah, I don't believe that. Everybody deserves to try to get their title back. If they lose their title and they negotiated to get a rematch, everybody have a chance to get their title back. Now, whether they get it back or they don't, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, like I said, I don't make no excuses. But Bud was the better man. He won. I make no excuses. But I mean, who knows? Like I said, they go to 54 and they fight. It might be a totally different fight. Bud might be the one that looked like Earl at the end of that fight. We don't know. This is boxing. Things happen.
I get what you said. It makes sense. I'm gonna read this comment. AB said, "Yeah, I agree. It looked like he might have let up a little bit. Not might have. I mean, he literally carried him to the 9th round. At the end of the day, after the 3rd round, after he went down like the first 3 times. I mean, I give Earl a lot of credit, but man, I think Bud could have got him out of there. I'm gonna read. He said, D1 said, I seen him walk backstage. He was all smiles. He knew he got his head whooped, but it looked like he knew something he didn't know that we didn't know, like what happened. He said a couple more punches and he would have been put him down again. Ref saved him. My man Edgar said, D-Free, salute my man. Salute the chat. He said almost every high level best versus best of it is a one-sided butt whooping for one reason or another. I don't know if that's true, man. He said he negotiated in his contract, so he deserves it. I hear what you're saying, bro, but at the end of the day, bro, when you get dismantled, he looked like he didn't belong in the ring with him.
Are you telling me that Deontay Wilder didn't deserve a rematch on his second loss? I mean,
no.
Yes, he
did. No, he didn't. He got beat to death. He got beat to death.
I'm gonna tell you why he deserved a rematch, because there was a lot of foul play in that fight.
What was the foul? Let me ask you, what's the foul play, bro? What was the foul play?
His gloves. The fact that Deontay Wilder said he felt like he was drugged. And even when they started the fight, everybody
said about Mark Breland, man. Mark Breland had to go back to work because of those
I didn't say Mark Breland nothing. I said he felt like he was drugged. That's what he said. He felt like he was drugged. He never said it was Mark Breland. I never said it was Mark Breland. I'm just going by what Mark Breland said. I never gave that man water. And then you look at the fight, and Mark Breland is the only man that ever gave him water. So why would you say you never gave him water? He never said that he was drugged from the water. He said he felt like he was drugged. And Mark Breland come out and say, well, I never gave that man water. And then you watch the fight. Mark Breland is the only man that ever gave him water.
I feel what you said.
Kind of funny to me.
Salute to my man Knocker. He said he negotiated his contract. He deserves it. What that boy Vic said, he said most embarrassing fan base in boxing. What's wrong with EJ? Pathetic. I don't know. I don't know where all this what's wrong with EJ stuff comes. There was nothing wrong with him. He just got beat up. It wasn't. There's no excuses in the ring, man. Like
no, it's no excuses. But I mean, like I said, I could tell that there was literally this wasn't the best EJ I've ever seen. This wasn't even close to being the best EJ I've ever seen. This is by far the worst EJ I've ever seen. The EJ that fought Danny Garcia coming straight off the car crash looked better than this. And he was only at 80% when he fought Danny Garcia at that time.
He D1 said them contracts for rematches are ironclad. Bud has to fight Errol again. Marky Dan says, and this is a question to you, D-Free, does Fulton deserve a rematch against Inoue?
Yes. Every champion.
Oh my God.
Every champion that has a belt, if they negotiated a rematch in their contract, they deserve a rematch. Now, if they didn't negotiate a rematch, then no, you don't deserve one. You didn't negotiate it. But if you negotiated a rematch, now I'm not saying just because you're a champion, you deserve to get a rematch. If you negotiate a rematch in your contract, you deserve a rematch. Now, if he didn't negotiate one, then he don't deserve it because he never negotiated for it. But if he negotiated for it, he deserved it. I don't care how bad the beating was.
We watched that fly. That wasn't no fight.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm telling you how I would feel if it was me. If I negotiated, if I sat here and we went months for negotiations, and I negotiated a rematch in my clause, and you beat me, regardless if you knock me out, you beat me from round 1 to round 12, you beat me. I want my rematch. I negotiated. Not only is giving me an opportunity to win my title back, but it's also giving me another payday. I want my rematch.
I feel you, man. Salute to my man LDTV. He said D Free blessings. What did he say? What BVO Kevin about today? You a troll, bro. He said inactivity. He couldn't spar for camp. We're going to get the rematch whenever whether we like it or not. I'm just saying, salute to Tay. She's saying, hey, D Free. Salute to the chat. I just say this. They said inactivity, the rib. What did it say? The inactivity, rib injury. Couldn't spar for 6 weeks leading up to the fight. He looked very rusty. He been out the ring 15 months. We getting a rematch, no matter we like it or not. I don't know, man. You capping out, D1. Salute to my man, D1. He said none of it was ever proven. That's what I'm wondering. When you said something was wrong with Deontay's glove, what are you talking? I never heard that before.
Not Deontay's glove, Tyson Fury's glove.
What was wrong with his gloves?
The stuffing was out of his glove. You could see his knuckle in his glove. You haven't seen the photos?
No, I've never seen them. Yeah. I've never seen them.
The first fight, his glove wasn't even all the way on his hand. The second fight, the stuffing was out of his glove. You could literally see his knuckle in his glove. You could see the knuckles in his glove.
He said, I feel like he was drugged by a 270-pound gypsy, was beating him up upside his head.
No, that man looked like he didn't have no legs from the beginning of the fight. That man came out there looking. Everybody said that. As soon as they took the mask off, they was like, "What the fuck is what's wrong with Deontay Wilder?"
I think his suit was too heavy, but that's just me. I don't want to make excuses, but I think that suit has something to do with it.
That suit ain't had nothing to do with it. The suit ain't had nothing to do with it. Everybody keeps saying the suit because the man said they asked him a question. He said, was it the suit? He was like, I don't know if it was the suit or I was drugged or whatever. And everybody said, oh, Deontay Wilder said the suit was too heavy. He never said the suit was too heavy. Everybody said the suit. They heard Deontay Wilder say something about the suit and they ran with it. That man never said that the suit was too heavy.
Yeah, my man D1 said Devin Haney versus Kambosos if they rematch guaranteed. Bud and Errol are going to rematch. I mean, I see what you're saying. He said, I've been hearing some guys from Dallas speak on this, and they saying something all the way different. At the end of the day, I just say this. I think Derek James this is supposed to be the trainer of the year. The fact that Errol Spence was not able to make any adjustments, we all know Errol Spence got heart. You can't be at that level and not have heart. But for him to make no adjustments, just to sit there and get beat on, I mean, I don't know, D-Free. When you get beat up, man, you look like Elmo after the fight, bro. I think you should go ahead and give it up.
So because Errol Spence didn't make no adjustment, that's on Derek James?
What was he telling him in the ring? I mean, what was he telling him in the ring?
I had my volume down because we was doing a lot.
No, what I'm saying is I rewatched the fight and he really wasn't saying nothing but work behind the jab. And I'm thinking like,
Earl wasn't working behind his jab.
I mean, but it seemed like, Terrence took the jab away. He said water balance was always bad. He was getting pushed backwards for the first time. He said, I told y'all, I told these trainers all these hyped up trash. I ain't gonna say Derek James is trash as always. Vic jumping off the bridge, man. For you saying that, Vic, I gotta just snatch your chain, bro. You talking crazy, bro. Ain't no way in the world you can say that, man. What you think, man? Who?
He said all his. He said all his trainers are hyped up trash.
He's saying that Derek James is hyped up trash. You agree with that?
You can't be hyped up trash and you win 7 belts.
I don't see how you can do that at all. But
and it's not like he won 7 belts from 7 trash fighters. He won 7 belts from 7 legitimate champions. Errol Spence beat Ugas. Errol Spence beat Sean Porter. Errol Spence beat Kell Brook. Then we had Jamel Charlo beat Brian Castano. Who's the other 3? Rosario, and who's the other 2?
He beat Harrison.
He got his belt back from Harrison. He lost the first time he got the belt back, but even then, he knocked Harrison out.
And what I gotta say, this is what I gotta say.
Don't know shit about boxing. Don't know shit.
I just want you to know that. You the same dude that was talking crazy, man. He said Bud used an educated jab. Earl, he wasn't jabbing with him, jabbing low and high, using the power jab. What I'm saying is this, Antonio. I thought the fight was getting so out of hand. I don't know why Errol Spence did hit him with a low blow. You couldn't just beat on me like that and me not at least get you off me for a second with a low blow.
Yeah, I mean, but Errol Spence not a dirty fighter, so
that's not dirty. That's not a dirty. That's telling you to back up.
That's dirty. You hit somebody with a low blow, that's dirty. He's not a dirty fighter.
No. I like how you say that, dude. You saw D.
I would hit a low blow because I'm dirty. I do whatever I got to do to win. I'm dirty, but Errol Spence not a dirty fighter.
Hey, you know what's funny, man? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Vic, please, man, be careful what you be saying, man, because you be talking too wild. I'm gonna drop the link because I got to give that boy Vic his chance to come back because he was talking so wild. I won't repeat what you said because you said the wildest thing I ever heard in my life, and you had your cap backwards, so. You really scared me that day. He said, what did he say? James was too caught up in trying to be funny at the press conference. He should have been worried about Bud and Bomac, what they was going to do. I don't know about that. I feel like this. I feel like Derrick James came in with a fight plan, but I don't think Bud Crawford, it's not many fighters that could have beat him that night. I think the only person who probably could have beat him is maybe Sugar Ray Leonard that night. What you think, D3?
Who, Bud?
That night.
You said the only fighter that could have beat him was Sugar Ray Leonard?
That night. I'm talking about that night. That's how sharp he looked.
That's not the only fighter.
Who else could beat him the way he looked that last fight? Who else could beat him?
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones in the welterweight.
Roy Jones was a welterweight.
He started at 154.
Roy Jones, he started at 154?
Yeah, he started at 154. He was never
Roy Jones started at welterweight and moved up to 54.
No, he went to 54 all the way to heavyweight. I was the biggest Roy Jones fan in the world.
I thought he started at 47 and moved up. But
no, he was at 54.
Shit, you got Tommy Hearns. Shit.
Tommy Hearns could beat that Terrence Crawford, who as chinny as he was. Tommy Hearns stayed getting beat up.
You do realize that Tommy Hearns beat a lot of motherfuckers that we consider legends in the game. As skinny as he was.
And he always got knocked out by the best. You remember that, right?
He ain't get knocked out by Sugar Ray.
He knocked him out at welterweight. What you talking about, man? He put his muffs on and got him out of there. And Tommy was winning the whole fight.
The second fight.
The first fight.
The second fight, what happened?
You talking about at middleweight?
Yeah.
Let me think. I can't remember, man.
They went the distance.
He said,
I'm not gonna say that. I mean, shit, Floyd Mayweather.
Oh no, not that Floyd that was at 140. No, not one-handed Floyd. No, not at no 147, bro.
I think Floyd might have been out of the ring just a little bit too long because a lot of people forgot how good Floyd really is.
At 147, that wasn't his best weight class. I mean, he's an all-time great at 147.
What are you talking about? That's not his best weight class.
Floyd, that wasn't his natural weight. Floyd is a featherweight, so Floyd was better.
And he got his biggest wins at 47. Those was his biggest wins. It was at 47, not at 35. At 47 was his biggest wins. All of his biggest wins was at 47. I mean, I don't even count the win over Canelo because that wasn't a big win. I knew he was going to beat the shit out of Canelo.
Hey, He said Bud couldn't compete with anyone that night. Bud could compete with anyone that night.
Yeah, I'm not saying he couldn't compete with him. He said Sugar Ray is the only person that could have beat him. I'm like, he's not the only person that could have beat him.
He said, I think Ray Robinson, of course, Ray Robinson would probably kill him. He said Ray Leonard would have beat Bud. That's what I just said. The only person could have beat Bud that night was Ray Leonard.
Like I said, I said Floyd could have probably beat him.
With one hand? With one hand, D3. He had one hand back then.
What are you talking about? Floyd
his hand. What I'm saying is
everybody with one hand back then.
He couldn't have beat.
He only had one hand. He beat everybody with one hand then.
He did, but I'm just saying, you think he could beat Bud?
So if Bud using two hands, he beat everybody with one hand. Some of the best welterweights that we've seen in boxing. He beat all of them with one hand. If you claim he only had one hand, he beat all of them with one hand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he would have been too injured to beat Bud, is what I'm saying.
He was never injured. His hand was just brittle.
He broke his hand versus McDonough. He broke the hand against McDonough.
Yeah, but he still was getting knockouts with that one hand.
I hear you said Hearn stopped
with that one hand.
He said Hearn stopped the run embarrassingly. Not true. He said, I think that both Rays, because they both were more fluid boxers and with a bit better feet than Bud, can match the Stone Cold Killer temperament. He said, no, Floyd would get hurt. Bud's power jab will break that Philly shell. That's what I'm trying to tell D3. That's what I'm trying to tell D3. Like, it's been, you know what? I haven't seen a guy look that sharp and that strong at 147 in a very long time. I mean, we seen.
I don't care how sharp and how strong he looked. That he wasn't in there with a caliber of a Roy Jones neither. I mean, not a Roy Jones, a Floyd Mayweather neither. He wasn't in there with a Floyd Mayweather. So we don't know how he would have looked against a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is not a fighter that's going to stand right there in front of you. Floyd Mayweather is going to move around the ring. Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive fighter we have seen in our era. He's the best defensive fighter that we've seen. The only other person that you could put close to Floyd Mayweather's defensive fighting style was maybe a Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins is far in between of Floyd Mayweather.
What about Winky Wright?
Winky Wright was nowhere near Floyd Mayweather defensively.
You don't think so?
No.
He was a defensive fighter.
All he had was a high guard. He was not nowhere near Floyd Mayweather defensively. He just had a high guard. That's all he had was a high guard, and he would throw a jab. That's all Winky Wright had, as far as defensive wise.
That high guard was impenetrable. I hardly seen it. I hardly seen him get hit. I mean, he was slick. He was slick. I see what you're saying. He didn't have a lot of power, but he was pretty slick. I
tell you like this. Did Winky Wright get beat?
Yeah, he got beat.
Okay. Then.
You know, Sugar Ray Leonard got beat, right?
Yeah, I do. I didn't say Sugar Ray Leonard was a better defensive fighter than Floyd Mayweather neither. And Sugar Ray Leonard was one of my favorite fighters.
Can I ask you a question? Did Floyd not get a gift first? What was that dude? Was it starts with a C, man? What was that guy he fought twice? Early on. I want to say Castano, but I don't think that's right. What was that guy, man, that he fought at the lower weight? I can't remember. If I remember, I'll bring it up. He said, me either. Bud looked like the best welterweight since the 90s. Well, I'll say this. I'll put like this. If he was to fight Bud, if he was able to fight Jaron Ennis, he would stop Jaron Ennis if there was a fight. What you think?
It's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know because Jaron is young. He's energetic, and he got hellified reflexes. So I don't know. He definitely has the experience to be able to stop a Jaron Ennis, but I don't know if he would.
Did Bud break a sweat?
Jaron Ennis moves around the ring like Bud used to at 140.
So this is my question about it. So do you think he can if they were to fight, do you think the power wouldn't overwhelm somebody like Boots?
I don't know. I would have to see it because I can't say that it will overwhelm him because we don't know if he will ever get hit with the power because he don't fight the same style that Errol Spence fight. We saw what he did to Errol Spence, and we just think, okay, he'll do that to everybody. We don't know that because Jaron Ennis don't fight that style.
Well, I'll ask you this. This will be a better question. So after what we've seen with boxing, who you think is number one pound for pound? Would you say Inoue, or would you say Terrence Crawford? Who's number one pound for pound?
No, you gonna give me those two people and say who's better, who's number one pound for pound?
I think it would be who else could you put in there? I'm talking about off accomplishments, not just off talent, off accomplishments.
No, I'm just saying you giving me those two people, and you're gonna say who's number one pound for pound. Anyways, not on my pound for pound, so I wouldn't say anyway.
How is he not on your pound for pound? The Chinese Sugar Ray Leonard ain't on your pound for pound. Okay. He said absolutely he'll stop Jerron. He'll run him into something. By experience, Jerron also plays too much in the ring. Hey, wasn't that what we were talking about yesterday? He played too much in the ring. He said he can outbox guys and get them out of there. Instead, he takes punches he doesn't need to. Remember James Toney versus Michael Nunn. That's a great example. I gotta say that's a great example. You can't be, and that's the same thing we talked about on Monday, D. For you can't be in the ring playing. It seemed like Jerron.
I also said I don't believe Jerron Ennis would do that with somebody that he knows is elite. He does that with people that he knows he's much better than. That, like I said, the analogy that I gave is just like when you playing against your son. You playing against your son, you know damn well your son can't fuck with you in basketball, so you play around with him. But if you're going out there with somebody that's just as big as you and can play, you're not gonna play around with him. You're gonna play your hardest. But when you play against your kids, you're gonna play around with them. Oh yeah. And you just throw shots from anywhere because those are your kids. You playing around with them. You're not really trying to beat them, but you want to beat them. But when you playing somebody, if I was playing my son, I won't be playing my son my hardest. But if I'm playing against you, me and you we're gonna be battling. I'm not gonna sit here and play around with you. I'm gonna play you and I'm gonna show you that I'm better than you. But when I'm playing with my son, I'm gonna play around with him.
I feel what you're saying. I'm just more or less saying I give.
Oh, you froze.
Hold on, I don't know. I had a little internet issue.
I'm back.
But this is the thing I was saying is I get what you say on that end, but it just seemed like that's the overwhelming thing. Like when he was fighting Billa, he was in there playing around, and I just think that's level, though. I think it was but it only take one punch, man, to get you out of there.
Yeah, it does. But like I said, what I noticed from Jerron Ennis is Jerron Ennis doesn't play around at the beginning of the fight. Once he knows that, they got DeMarcus Ware singing the national anthem.
From the Cowboys?
Yeah.
For what?
He actually can sing. He can sing. Yeah.
Hey, man. This is what I think about
fuck Fred, fuck Howard, and fuck all of them.
What about Robin?
Other Cowboys fans. I want all y'all Cowboys fans. This is what I think about.
Fuck Fred, fuck Howard, and fuck all of them.
What about Robin? She's hot, right?
Robin?
Yeah.
Who cares about that bitch?
No, but the thing that I noticed with Jerron is like he doesn't play around at the beginning of the round. Once he knows that you're not on his level, you can't keep up with him. He can do whatever he need to do in that ring. That's when he starts to play around. Once he realizes I'm much faster than this guy. This guy ain't got number 1 or 2 shots to try to hit me with. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do and put on a show for the fans. That's when he starts playing. But if you watch Jerron at the beginning of the beginning of the fight, that man come out there fighting.
Yeah, he do. And I'll say this. So once Bud leaves the division, man, what's left at 147 for Jerron Ennis, you think? What's his next fight for a vacant belt?
The next thing left for Jerron Ennis at 147 is undisputed. There ain't nobody at 147 for Jerron Ennis. There ain't nobody at 147 that's going to compete with Jerron Ennis right now. Nobody. The only people that can compete with Jerron Ennis is Errol and Bud. Outside of them two, nobody else can compete with Jerron Ennis at 47. Not right now.
That boy Vic said Bud will show you exactly how hyped Ennis is. I mean,
he might.
He definitely might. I put like this, man. I know my man Vic be talking crazy. I get it. All your Bud fans, man, y'all were right. He's the best, man. He's the best. But at the end of the day, man, He gotta keep fighting, man. He gotta fight.
I wouldn't even say he got to keep fighting. I wouldn't even say he got to keep fighting. If that man want to go to 54 and fight at 54, then he can go at 54 and fight at 54. If he decide he want to retire, he can retire. I mean, he already set history. He undisputed at 2 weight classes. He's not going to get undisputed at 54 unless he fights Tim Tszyu, and then if Jamel comes back down and he fights Jamel, because they already stripping one of the belts from Jamel when he fight Canelo.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to tell you the truth, Vic, I wish if he was here, I'd be there. Because you just be going so hard about Terrence Crawford, man. Pause, but
no, like I said, the night of the fight, Terrence Crawford deserved all the respect and all the credit for what he did on last Saturday. That man did something that I didn't see him doing, and like I said, I was wrong. I was first one to admit I was wrong, and he did exactly what a lot of his fans said he was going to do.
He said, when Bud has fought Gamboa, who has faster feet than Jaron Ennis and has pop in both hands. Two, man, Jaron needs another stiff test to offer resistance so he can show us if he has resolve in the fight. I don't know.
No, don't ever put Gamboa on the same sentence with Jaron Ennis. don't ever put.
What are you, a 3-time champion? What are you, a 3-time 3-division champion?
I don't give a fuck what he was. He's nowhere near the level of Jaron Ennis. I don't give a fuck what he was. He's nowhere near the level of Jaron Ennis.
Oh my God.
That man couldn't beat Jaron Ennis if Jaron Ennis was still in the amateurs.
Oh my God.
He's nowhere near the level of Jaron Ennis.
Hey, Gary Antoine Russell I think he'll beat Jaron Ennis. I think if he would have won 47, I think he'll still beat Jaron Ennis.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say he will. I'm not gonna say he won't.
I think he beat him. I think he beat him like 2 times in the amateurs.
Y'all know I rock with the Russells. That's my family. I rock with them, but I'm not gonna say that after what I've seen the last couple of fights. I'm not gonna say that Antoine will beat Jaron Ennis. But who knows?
That might be because of his dad.
He fought him 4 times, so he know how to fight him. But Jaron Ennis improved since the amateurs. Gary Russell improved since the amateurs. So I don't know.
That boy Vic said, I don't talk crazy. I don't buy what people tell me. I watch the tape. He said, y'all overrate little EJ, and it looks funny with the media skewed opinion. I don't know, man. He said Gamboa is about Errol's level at least. At least he landed a meaningful punch. I mean, Vic, at the end of the day, Errol Spence is not on the same planet as Bud Crawford as a fighter. And we know that. We've seen that. At the end of the day, I think it'd be worse if they fought again. I mean, maybe at 154 he won't look as drained and blew out pause as he did. But I think Bud just got his number, man, because a Mexican can never be a slick fighter unless you Oscar De La Hoya or unless you Chavez when he beat Mildred Taylor.
You keep talking about Oscar De La Hoya. Name a slick fighter that Oscar De La Hoya beat.
Pernell Whitaker.
No, he didn't.
Pernell Whitaker.
No, he didn't.
Look at the record, man. He has Pernell Whitaker on his resume. Can y'all please tell my co-host here that Pernell Whitaker lost to Oscar De La Hoya? Because he did. He did.
Yeah, he lost according to what the judges say, but according to what the mass majority said, that man got his ass whooped by Pernell Whitaker.
Well, who won?
You and the 4 judges, the only one that thought that Oscar De La Hoya won.
Well, let me ask you.
Even Bob Erm thought that Oscar De La Hoya lost.
Well, let me ask you this: Who won between Chavez and Mildred Taylor? Who won?
I was never good. I was never hyped on Mildred Taylor.
Mildred Taylor was a nice fighter. I'm not saying he was hyped on. I'm just saying he was slick.
Mildred Taylor was an okay fighter. He was never a top-notch fighter. He was okay. He was a Sean Porter. He was never a top-notch fighter. He was okay.
What did he say? Hold on 1 second. He said, my man Antonio says Jaron isn't a world champion yet, dude. Anything can happen and prevent him from even becoming a world champion. You must know of Gamboa before 50 Cent. 50 Cent ruined Gamboa's career. I mean, that's just a fact. He ruined his career, and Gamboa never.
50 Cent had shit to do with that.
Who ruined his career then, D-Free? Come on, man.
He ruined his career. do you see Gamboa coming in with that nonchalant attitude, like he faster and quicker than everybody until he get caught, and then that nigga be sitting there looking stupid? He does that in every fight. He coming in with that nonchalant attitude, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I was cheering the man on. I'm sitting there like, no, you're not faster than everybody, dog. You're not gonna beat everybody. That man got his head knocked off. He continued getting his head knocked off.
What the fuck you say?
The only person that didn't knock his head off was daggone Devin Haney, but Devin Haney beat that man from round 1 to round 12.
I mean, I don't know, man. You gotta watch my brother D3, man. He be talking about
Even Isaac Pitbull Cruz, no skills having, beat the shit out of Gamboa.
He said that boy Vic said Midget Taylor was good. Y'all wilding talking about him. He said Gamboa and Earl is not the same. Gamboa throws more. He said salute BB. Oh, salute to my man Skywalker. He said Gamboa was pound for pound talent. That's a fact. He said
Gamboa was never pound for pound. Gamboa has never been on pound for pound.
I don't ever remember.
He's never been pound for pound.
I don't remember that either. He said, hold on, Midget Taylor lost the fight because he was too small. He didn't have the pop to keep Chavez off him with the style he fought. He should have boxed Chavez and fight ruined him. Well, what I'm telling you is that's what happened when usually it's tough for a Mexican style to beat a slick fighter. And those are times. Go ahead.
I see a lot of people keep saying Gamboa was pound for pound. Y'all show me a list where Gamboa was pound for pound. Gamboa has never been pound for pound. Never. Show me. Like I said, I'm Puerto Rican. I cheered on Gamboa. He was never on the pound for pound list. Never. Never. Trust me, I know. He was never on the pound for pound list.
He said, yo, Devin ain't beat no one up. He stated he stated he was going to drop Gamboa 4 times and then knock him out. He didn't even doze Gamboa. Gamboa, you know a fight I gotta talk about, and this really was on my mind, D3. Man, Isaac Pitbull Cruz looked like trash. He looks like trash, man. He is horrible. Like the fact that he might get a Tank Davis fight is nuts, bro. Like he is trash, dude.
The only reason why he'll get a Tank Davis fight, like I said a couple of nights ago, the only way I see him getting a Tank Davis fight is because Devin Haney is going to 140. Shakur is probably going to fight Loma for the WBC. They're not going to make the Frank Martin fight. They're not going to make that Frank Martin fight. And T.O. might be asking for too much money for Tank Davis. And so the only other big money fight for Tank Davis would be Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Regardless of how we look at the fight and we say that he doesn't deserve a fight with Tank Davis, we don't want to see that fight. We know what Tank Davis is going to do. It's still a big money fight because the Mexican fan base are going to pay to see Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight Tank Davis. They looking at the money. They're not looking at the actual competition because we know that Pitbull Cruz is not on the level of a Tank Davis. They looking at, okay, we can't get none of these other guys, so let's go get this money. And Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a money fight.
This is the thing I'm saying. I've never seen nobody throw away haymakers. Like this dude is absolutely garbage, man. That fight we just seen him on that card, he looked like trash, man. What did you think about that performance?
Did you not just hear what I just said? He looked like trash when he fought Gamboa, and I was at that fight when he fought on. He was the co-main event for Errol Spence and Ugas, and he looked like trash in that fight. He was just throwing nothing but haymakers, and Gamboa couldn't get out of the way of him. Gamboa kept walking into a haymaker.
He said Tank gonna kill him with 2 hands. Tank don't want no hard fights. He's protected. Hold on 1 second, D-Free. I got to use the restroom real quick, man. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
I stay on. You want me to go to commercial?
It don't matter.
I will go to commercial quick. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. bad. He said,
hey, field goal kicker suck. He missed that joint wide right like a mug.
Hey, in case y'all didn't hear, this is a little off topic, but the Browns won it all year. And D Free predicted too. So I want y'all to know the Browns.
They about to get their ass whipped.
He said Tank go kill him with 2 hands. He said Tank doesn't want hard fights. Who's protecting him? Dick, you be saying the craziest stuff.
I need to know who's protecting him too, because last time I checked, that man makes his own fights now. Last time I checked.
He said the dude.
I don't know who's protecting him.
I mean, he beat Pitbull Cruz with 1 hand. I don't know why in the world people think we want to see that fight again. I mean, he beat Pitbull Cruz with 1 hand.
What I will say, Tank Davis even said he don't want to fight Pitbull Cruz again. He was like, he don't deserve another fight. I beat him with 1 hand. He don't deserve another fight. But his team, Coach Kyle, he keeps talking about Pitbull Cruz, and Floyd was talking about Tio, and like Knockout said, Tio is not a bad fight if you think about it, because Tio does have the WBO belt. If Tank Davis go up to 140 and beat Tio for the WBO belt, and Devin Haney happens to beat Regis Prograis for his WBC belt, now we got a unification between Tank Davis and Devin Haney at 140, which make that a big ass fight.
He said, I mean, Big ain't lying. Tank only take easy fights. He said, you telling me if he had both hands, he wouldn't have knocked him out since the 6th round? Well, he would have put him to bed. I put like this, my man, the masked man said he could fight Stevenson, Haney, or Tio. At the end of the day, man, Tio is the most feared man in boxing, bro.
No, he's not.
Tank ain't got the heart.
You be putting sauce on these niggas like a mother, boy. I said, God, these niggas be drowning in ketchup and mumble sauce like a mother out this bitch. All this damn sauce you put on these niggas.
You gotta watch this dude here, man. This guy's rough.
This nigga said Tio is the most feared fighter in all of.
Well,
this nigga said Tio is the most feared fighter in all of boxing.
Under 140, my mistake. Under 140. Let me clean up. Under 140, he's the most.
No, he's not. He's not more feared than Tank Davis.
What do you mean? He go in there beating the best. What are you talking about? He goes in there and beats the best of the best.
I didn't say he didn't beat Josh Taylor. I said he's not more feared than Tank Davis.
Okay. I don't know. He said D Free.
Niggas is getting in the ring with Tank Davis because they know that's a payday. Niggas looking at Tio like, nigga, okay, I beat you. What the fuck am I gonna get out of it?
You talking about a 2-time lineal champion right here. You gotta remember.
You keep talking about 2-time lineal champion. Tell me how much money did he make off the 2-time lineal champions? How much money did he make?
He made $1 million off each fight.
He made $1 million
off both fights together. He made $2 million to do that.
No, he didn't. He made $1 million in one of them. He made $4 million in another one.
He made $4 million. I thought he made 1.5 against.
Oh no, that's right. He made. I'm sorry. They bought the fight for $6 million. He made, I think.
You talking about that Cambosos fight that didn't happen?
He made like 3 something.
Yeah, so they ended up giving him 1.5 to fight Loma. That's why he did the whole purse bid scheme and all that. He said D Free is Bud, the best fighter in the world. In the world now, like I used to hold on. Like I was telling you for years, he said it's Bud the best fighter in the world, D Free.
No. Bud is a great fighter. I still don't think he's the best fighter in the world.
I'm gonna give him his credit right now. Other than Inouye,
I give him his credit. I'm not gonna say he's the best fighter in the world. I give
who's
him
better than him?
Who's better than him? He's the best fighter at 147.
Who you think is better than him? Pound for pound. Other than Inouye,
Arthur Paterbolev.
That's a good pick. I can't mind. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I can't go over that. That's a good pick. That dude's a monster, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got David Morrell. David Morrell just too big for Bud. He's too big for Bud. But
whoa,
I mean,
whoa.
if they was in the same weight class,
Yeah.
David Morrell was just too. He's too much for Bud.
He said, I don't think Tank is a scary dude. I think he's a smart dude. He's smart because to stay away from Tio, because Tio will hurt him, man. Tio is the king of taking your best thing away from you and just going in there and outboxing you, outclassing you. He said, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even like Tio because he's been ducking too, but it would be he would probably starch Tank. Who did Tio duck? Everybody was scared of Tio, bro. What are you talking about? They
ducked Devin Haney. What are you
how
talking
did
about?
How did he duck Devin Haney? He was undisputed.
He was
undisputed.
He was not.
You're not making any sense because Mauricio Suleiman said he was undisputed.
What Mauricio Suleiman said? Mauricio Suleiman also said that they're going Canelo Alvarez is the franchise champion in every weight class. I don't give a fuck what he say.
What
he
say?
Undisputed.
He said, "Don't we read this college? This dude going crazy." What did he say?
That man ducked Devin Haney.
He said, "Tank a dang punk who's always talking." Oh no, that's the stuff. That's tough right there, Vic.
I mean, y'all can say whatever. I just see Tank Davis always going to the ring, knocking niggas out. That's all I see.
I mean, the thing about Tank is this: you could talk crazy about Tanks, but you end up taking a shower, pause, mess around with Tank. He end up putting you in the shower room, man.
I mean,
he said,
y'all say Tank Davis is always taking easy fights.
He said Arthur Beterbiev, okay, I think that's too far. Beterbiev, you know what? Beterbiev is just overlooked, man. I think he would beat the sleeves off of Bivol, man. If they was ever
I bet say he'll beat Bivol. See, a lot of people think Bivol got a great jab and he's going to be able to keep Beterbiev away. I seen Beterbiev fight a lot of people with decent jabs. They can't keep that man away. If you can't hurt that man and knock that man out, you going to sleep.
There's people gotta understand. There's a reason why your boy David Benavidez ducked him, because he was scared to death of him.
Your boy Canelo ducked him.
Oh, here we go. The fight wasn't offered. The fight was never offered to him.
The fight was offered to him because he called him out and Beterbiev said, "Yeah, I'll fight you," and he went up there and fought Kovalev.
Well, Kovalev took the deal he was offered.
Like I said, he said he called out Beterbiev, and Beterbiev said, "Yeah, I'll fight you," and he went up there and fought Kovalev.
Hey,
right out of the division, right after that.
Hey, my man Greenlight is he's speaking some knowledge. You said, people, y'all need to know that these fighters don't be ducking. And that's a fact. Tio never ducked no smoke.
Yes,
all Tio do is fight the best. That's all Tio do.
I'm gonna tell you how Tio ducked. I'm gonna tell you how Tio ducked.
Okay.
Because the franchise champion can call all his mandatories. He can make his own mandatories. Mm-hmm. And this came out of Tio's mouth itself. He said, "We're going to call Mauricio Suleiman and mandate Devin Haney." And he never did it. And then he came back and said, "No, I'm going to take the Kambosa fight." He said, "I'm going to send a contract to Devin Haney and I'm going to send a contract to Kambosa. Whoever signed the contract, that's who I'm going to fight." Bob Erm said, "Tio can't send a fucking contract to nobody." And then he said, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to fight Kambosa and then I'm going to drop all the belts so it makes it that much harder for Devin Haney to get undisputed." He didn't never want to fight that man. He's scared of that man.
Oh my God.
Even when they was at the fight, I think it was, who fight was it? Was it the Lomachenko fight or the Kambosa fight? It was somebody fight. It was Lomachenko. They was at the Lomachenko fight. They was in the audience. They went to the ringside to talk to the dude, and they had just got finished arguing in the crowd. They went and they was having an interview, and the dude said, "Okay, Devin Haney, I don't want to have any problems up here." And Devin Haney said, "Man, this motherfucker ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing." And Tio sat right there, quiet.
He did say that. He did say. See, I'll keep it real deep. He did say that, but I heard that he had a gun on him. You know, he known to have them weapons on him, so I don't know. He might have been.
He might have been on Devin Haney because Devin Haney was cleared of all charges.
I'm just saying he could have been weaponed up. I don't know.
Devin Haney never had a gun on him.
What do you say, y'all? He said, "Y'all people need to stop. It's a lot of time. Either their promoter or other fighter promoter won't accept." He said, "Tio definitely ducked Devin Haney. How?" He said this is the thing. How is he not undisputed, bro? He had all the belts. He beat Lomachenko for the last belt. He said, "OMG, BVO, no one's scared of Tio Fimo Lopez." He said, "Are you crazy? Tio never was undisputed. Devin had the WBO. No, he had a pride belt. That's what they said. It was a pride belt.
No, he did not.
That's what Mauricio said. Mauricio said he had a pride belt.
No, he did not.
But what did Mauricio say?
Mauricio said the franchise belt is not even a belt. It's a status that we give to somebody for holding up the sport of boxing. And then Tio petitioned to have that same belt if he beat Loma. So it was not a belt that he was fighting for. It was a belt that he petitioned to get if he beat Loma. And then Mauricio said, okay, yeah, we can, because at first the belt, the status wasn't transferable. And then Mauricio said, well, we'll go ahead and transfer it if you beat Loma. And that's when Tio got it. And then when Kambosos beat Tio, Kambosos petitioned to have the franchise belt. Devin Haney is the only one that never petitioned to have the franchise belt. That's why the franchise belt no longer exists, because it was never a real belt.
But this what you don't understand, D Free. The president of the doggone association said Devin Haney is our pride champion.
Okay.
He's not our real champion.
Okay. But tell me, where's the franchise belt?
Devin Haney got rid of it.
Devin Haney never had it.
He took it from Kambosos and then stopped carrying the belt.
No, he didn't.
I see him walking around with a franchise belt.
You saw him walking around with his WBC belt. They gave him the franchise belt and he threw it in the trash. He never petitioned for it.
He said this, that boy Vic said, hold on, he said, OMG, BVO, no one's scared of Tia's female. Are you crazy? Tio never was undisputed. Devin already. He said, this is the most annoying 10 years of boxing I remember. A goofy popularity contest.
Can you answer this question for me, since you said Tio's the most feared boxer in all the sports?
I said under 140.
I'm sorry, 140 and down. You say he's the most feared boxer from 140 and down. Can you answer this question for me? How come when Regis Progress said, I'm gonna put you in the hospital, that man like he's about to cry? Well, why would he say that? I almost died.
He got mental health issues, man.
So he ain't feared by nobody because Regis said I'll put his ass in the hospital. And you see what happened. That nigga ain't trying to fight Regis.
Hey man, you rough, man. This is obvious.
He said, I'll fight Josh Taylor. I ain't fighting Regis. I'll fight Josh Taylor.
Do to him, man. And at the end of the day, that's what D3 do, man. He be talking crazy, man.
Fuck Fred, fuck Howard, and fuck all of them.
What about Robin? She's hot, right?
Robin?
Yeah.
Who cares about that bitch?
You know what he meant to say? He meant to say, Tio, who cares about that bitch? That's what he meant to say.
That boy D3 crazy, man. He said, what did he say?
That's what he meant to say. Tio, who cares about that bitch?
He said, I'm only here to mess with D3. He's the biggest Bud hater I know. This is the Bud era.
I'm not a Bud hater. I'm not a Bud hater.
He said, no, I have to heavily disagree. No respect to you and these fighters. Fighters do be ducking. I don't believe all the politics with promoters. If you really want to fight somebody, you're going to make it happen. Like Errol did versus Bud Crawford. I mean, that's what happened. He said Regis is going to beat his tail. Watch, he will not come up to 140 because he lied to Bob Aaron about staying so they won't be at him on the Loma fight. He beat, so I can't really read it. He said he did all the belt. I don't know. That's what I'll tell you, man. Salute to my man A Hill from the west side of Cleveland. That's my brother right there. That's my Ohio brother, man. You know, Ohio run everything, man.
What I'd say is this, Murder. It's us Ohio boys. You know how we get, you know how us Ohio niggas get. What I'd say is this, Murder. It's us Ohio boys. You know how we get, you know how us Ohio niggas get out, nigga. Ohio nigga, double O. What's up, yo? Yeah. Columbus, Akron, Cleveland, Springfield, Dayton, Youngstown. What's up, y'all? Cincinnati, too. I forget about you. You know I love y'all niggas. What
Don't forget that, dude.
It would be the corniest nigga in New York to say some shit like that.
This dude said the corniest nigga in New York.
You ain't see no Jay-Z. You ain't see Jules Santana. You ain't see Jim Jones. You ain't see 50. You ain't see none of them niggas say that shit. It was the corniest nigga in New York. This the same nigga that got the color pink trademark so nobody can use it. Nigga don't might want to use no goddamn pink.
Hey, you can't listen to D3. Them DC niggas shot at Cam.
Football ass
Hey, when he said, "Hey, he threw the diamond," what they say? They threw the diamond.
No, not only did they shoot at him, they took the nigga jewels up off of him. Give me that.
Oh, here you go. Here go D3 add some extra mustard on it, Tumbo. They took his jewelry now. Here we go.
What the fuck you say?
They did. They snatched his chains up off of him.
Man, that boy D3 crazy, man. They stabbed the shit. But let me ask you this. So we talking about big fights. How do you see that T.O. versus Tank fight going?
What you mean? Far
as playing out. I see T.O. beating him by decision in an easy 12-round boxing lesson.
No, I think Tank Davis will hit him in his daggone solar plex, and his chest really will explode this time.
Hey, D3, you wrong, bro. You talking about his chest explode?
that man chest really will explode this time.
Hey,
right in the solar plex.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, we heard a lot about Devin Haney going to 140. Do you think he can beat Regis Prograis?
He has the boxing ability to be able to beat Regis Prograis. I don't know. I don't believe in his power. I don't believe in his power. I don't think his power is strong enough to keep Regis off of him. Now, I think he will be able to outbox Regis, but I think at some point Regis is going to touch him. And we have to see if Devin Haney will be able to stand up again, because we all know that Regis can punch. We know that he can punch. So I have to see if Devin Haney can help stand up to Regis' power, because I believe Devin Haney will outbox him, but I don't know if he's be able to stand up to his power. That's my only question.
And I think that's a good point, but I did see Regis Prograis on the ground.
Hold on one second.
Oh, no problem. I did see Regis Prograis on the canvas, man. I don't know if y'all seen that. Where they didn't count the fight, where they didn't count it. Hold on one second. My man Green, like I said, Tank took it easy when they sparred. 2 was only 16, but when his dad was talking crap, Tank started throwing power bombs. If you knew Spanish, you would hear him speak like he did against Cambosis. All I say is this, man. Tank, you know what? Tank is official, man. Tank is a good fighter, but when is Tank going to give us a tough fight? That's my question, man. Tank hasn't fought nobody. He ducked Gary Russell Jr. I mean, people forget that. The fact that him and Gary Russell never fought, I think, is a travesty. One is from DC, one is from Baltimore. That would have been a perfect fight. So I mean, I get what you're saying.
I keep trying to tell y'all, I'm not putting Tank Davis. I'm not putting that duck jacket on Tank Davis because his promoters didn't give him those fights. Tank Davis was not making his fights at that time, so I'm not going to put that duck jacket on him. Now, I would, at that time, I believe Gary Russell would have beat Tank Davis. I don't know about Gary Russell beating Tank Davis right now because, for one, Gary Russell's coming off an injury. He's been out of the ring for almost 2 years now, and Tank Davis got all the experience up until this point now. Gary Russell was only fighting one fight at 1 year at a time. So I would say I would favor Tank Davis as much as I hate to say it, I would favor Tank Davis in beating Gary Russell at this point in time in Gary Russell's career.
So let me ask you a better question. Do you think Gary Russell wasted his talent?
I believe he did, and I told him that. I believe he did because regardless if we know that he wanted to fight the best competition. He wanted to fight all of the champions in his weight division to become undisputed, and they wouldn't fight him. But I've said it to him when I seen him. I told him, I said, dog, take any fight. We don't care. We want to see you in the ring. That's all. We just want to see you in the ring. Take any fight. And he like, no, I'm not fighting just anybody. I want to fight the best guys. The best guys keep ducking me. So I feel like he did waste his talent because there was a lot of fights out there that he could have took, even though they wasn't the best guys. It still would have put him on display, and it would have got his name out there even more. Because a lot of people know who Gary Russell is, but it would have got his name out there even more if he was fighting more often.
You know what's funny? The way he beat Jojo Diaz, I mean, I don't think people realize that was like a masterful boxing lesson where I can say I almost hated that Gary Russell wasn't a taller man because he just had all the skills, defense, offense, even Boss Max Sale. I mean, he beat the guy with one hand. And I think we would be remiss if we don't talk about how great he was. And it's funny because Tank and Shakur both found a way to get right past him. I don't know about that. Salute to my man GD. What do you say? DC in the building. BVO salute chat. Y'all need to keep telling people Tank doesn't make these fights. His promoters don't want to take the risk. Tank is down for whatever.
So you said Tank Davis ducked Gary Russell, and like I said, I wouldn't put that on Tank Davis because Tank Davis wasn't calling his own fights at that time. He is now. So that's why I said moving forward, whatever Tank Davis do, I hold him solely responsible for because he's making his own fights now. But do you say Shakur Stevenson ducked Gary Russell?
I said that. I've been saying that too. Why did he said that fight never came up? Why wouldn't it come up? You had 126 with WO title.
Who fight never came up?
That's what Shakur said. He said that fight never came up.
Shakur both-faced lie because that man Gary Russell called him out. He said, "Shorty know he can get it. Shorty don't want it." He said that on national TV. But I think I heard it right after it was somebody fight. And they asked him about Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, he's in the crowd.
He's like, yeah, I mean, he's a nice little kid, but Shorty know he can get it because we at the same division. I seen him in the gym before. He know he can get it. So
he said Gary Russell Jr. was known for his speed, skill, but his hand speed has been gone for some years now. I think Gary Russell should have stuck to his training. Stick to training his brothers. Yeah. I think he's gonna be good training. I'm just saying, usually when a guy's a complete fighter like that, D-Free, it's just sad to see him not ever really get. He only had one big fight. To me, that's just a travesty, man. What you think about that?
Yeah, he only had. Well, he had two.
Who?
He had. I mean, at the
JoJo?
time, JoJo Diaz and Lomachenko. I mean, he lost to the Lomachenko fight. He wanted a rematch. Loma wouldn't give him a rematch. But he had two big fights, but outside of those two fights, those are the two biggest fights of his career.
I mean, I say this in boxing. I think Demetrius Andre falls in that same realm. What do you think?
Demetrius Andre, because Demetrius Andre pretty much what I will say is Demetrius Andre. The difference between him and Gary Russell is Demetrius Andre chose to go the different route. Gary Russell was on the right side of the street. It's just those guys wouldn't fight him. Like a lot of those guys wouldn't fight him. But Demetrius Andre, he chose to go to DAZN, and DAZN don't have nobody. What's going on, Thomas? DAZN don't have nobody. Why would you go to DAZN?
It's funny you say that. I look at Demetrius Andre. Him and Danny Jacobs both kind of cashed out. But Danny Jacobs got the Canelo fight and the Triple G fight. And I think that was because people was really scared of what Demetrius Andre used to be. But what I seen his last fight and the fight before that, he's done. And at the end of the day, he ducked Janabek. So, I mean, he's just scary now, man. The fact that
that's the same thing I say about Regis. Why would you go to DAZN? Then you get in the Devin Haney fight, and that's because Devin Haney wants that fight. Not because you want that fight. Devin Haney called you out. He saw your last fight, and Devin Haney called you out. So you get the Devin Haney fight, but outside of the Devin Haney fight, whatever fights are you getting? You had Matisse call you out. You didn't take the Matisse fight. I'm like, why wouldn't you take that fight? That's a big fight. That's a unification fight. Why would you take
Matisse that? Stopping everything. That's why he's stopping everybody.
I mean, I know that, but according to Regis, nobody was calling him out. Nobody wanted to fight him. Everybody was scared of him. But Matisse, it was like, I want to fight Regis program. I'm gonna put him in a hospital. Then Regis program, he did a daggone David Benavidez. That man got quiet. I'm like, fuck.
He said Eddie Hearn promised that man a Canelo fight and could never deliver. Andre never fell. Andre fell for the trick. I won't say that because Andre had a chance to fight Jermell Charlo early on. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll put it like this. You can't do bad business and think you're going to get the best fights. It just don't work that way. I remember Roy Jones giving his phone number to fighters on the phone. And at the end of the day, man, I don't know what's going on with this kind of era of boxing, man. What you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he had the opportunity to fight Jamel Charlo. He pulled out of that fight, but Eddie Hearn did promise him the Canelo fight and couldn't deliver it. And how you can't go to a promoter because a promoter promised you a fight and that fighter is not his fighter. Canelo was not part of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. He was part of Golden Boy. That wasn't Eddie Hearn's fighter. So why would you go to Eddie Hearn thinking you're gonna get a Canelo fight when he wasn't with Matchroom? He was with Golden Boy.
And what you saying is true, G. He said all of them was waiting for Canelo payday when they should have fought each other. I mean,
Yeah,
I read this story. I read this story about this group of people called Murderers Row. It was a bunch of black fighters, I think, in the 30s that couldn't get the big fights, and they all fought each other. Ended up getting a bunch of losses, but they got some of the best fights done. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you got to be willing to fight the best. One of the things, you know, my brother D Free hate when I bring this up is that you got to be fearless when you come to this boxing, man. Whether it's like Oscar fighting Pernell. At the end of the day, man, people thought he was going to lose to Pernell. You know, you got Floyd fighting Oscar, coming up from 135 to 147 to fight Oscar. People don't understand, man. That's not no easy thing to do, and you really just got to go ahead and make it happen, man. And I think too many times people don't understand. You can't do what Marvin Hagler did. You can't stay in one division anymore. You got to kind of go up and kind of test yourself because Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and them already set the stage where you got to go up and down weight. What you think, man?
Not necessarily. If there's competition in that weight class, you don't necessarily have to move up to make a name and be a fighter that people fear and people like. Because if there's competition now, if you're in a weight class where there's no competition, you beat everybody. There's no competition there, and you just sitting there. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm gonna wait for somebody to come up to this weight class. I'm gonna stay. Nah, now you pretty much wasting your career. But if you in it like the 140 division right now, the 140 division, I could see Regis Prograis staying in that division and making a name for himself because right now he's not a household name. But if he beat everybody at 140, because 140 is loaded right now. 140 is loaded with a lot of talent. And then you got the guys from 135 that's eventually going to move up to 140. So I could see him staying at 140 and making a name for himself. He don't have to leave that division. But if you're not fighting nobody at 140 and there's nobody in that division for you to fight, then yeah, you might need to move up to 147 and try to make some fights there because you're not getting the fights at 140.
I feel what you're saying. I just think I'm more or less in boxing now. I think people are so set on being a multi-division champion that they're gonna have to move up and down the weight classes because people don't understand what Floyd did was nearly impossible, man. To go all the way up to 154, win the belt, and he had to come right back down to 147 because 154 was just too big. I just think no matter what you do, you ain't never be able to please all these fans. But one fight I gotta ask you about, man. What you think about this whole Beterbiev fight coming up on the 19th? You excited about that fight?
Who's he fighting again? Smith?
Yeah.
Didn't he already beat Smith?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same outcome.
But Smith touched him up. Smith touched him up the last fight.
It's gonna be worse for Smith this time.
You don't think that after that Anthony Yarde fight, you don't think he lost some? Beterbiev, they're trying to age Beterbiev out, I think.
I believe they trying to. I believe that they trying to age him out because they want Bivol to be the champion. Because I mean, let's be honest, those are the only two guys at 175 right now. Is Bivol and Beterbiev. There's nobody outside of those two guys. I mean, there's other names there, but everybody else is not beating those two guys. Those are the two guys to beat at 175. Now, David Benavidez can go up there and make some noise, but I think David Benavidez know that if he goes up there, he's going to have to face one of those two guys. I think he'll have a better shot at Bivol. I don't think he has nothing coming with Bertervalev unless Bertervalev just get too old. Father Time show itself, and Bertervalev is he's just aged right in the ring, right in front of our face. That's the only way I see David Benavidez beating Bertervalev, because David Benavidez, he throw a lot of punches, but and a lot of people say, oh, he hits hard or whatever. He doesn't hit hard. He overwhelms you with a lot of punches, and over time the punches takes a toll on you. But if you fight somebody like a Bertervalev, you cannot stand right in front of him and just throw a bunch of punches and think that's going to stop him from throwing punches back. Bertervalev will throw in between your shots, and his punches hurt. He'll throw one shot, and that one shot will hurt. It'll feel like he hit you 10 times. So you throwing 20 punches, he's throwing 2, and it feels the same or more than your 20 punches that you threw.
I think what you're saying is very true, because Bertervalev, man, people don't talk about this, but he really, I know you don't want to give Chill his credit for being feared, but he's feared as well, because David Benavidez had a chance to go right to 175 and fight him for his WBC belt, and he didn't do it. I think
nobody's trying to jump in that ring right away to fight Bertervalev. The only person I see that's willing to get in the ring with Bertervalev and fight for his belt is Bivol. That's the only one I see.
But Bivol ain't fighting for it.
Bivol ain't fighting for it because of Mauricio Sulaiman. It has nothing to do with Bivol or Bertervalev. Mauricio said they don't want to give Bivol that fight because of Russia, because his parents is from Russia. He was born in Russia, and the whole situation between Russia and the Ukraine. So they're not sanctioning that fight. So that's why they holding off that undisputed fight. But it has nothing to do with Bertervalev, and it has nothing to do with Bivol. Is Mauricio Sulaiman is stopping that fight. They want to fight each other. Mauricio was stopping that fight.
I mean, you know what's funny, man? I can't say nothing bad about this, because I feel like Mauricio Sulaiman is just like his father, Jose Sulaiman. He's on the take, man. People forget Don King had Jose Sulaiman in his pocket, and it's just like it's the same old family tradition. We just do. Like, I didn't even notice. Did you know that Adrian Broner is the official silver champion at 140?
Yes.
How?
Because he was supposed to. Remember, after Adrian Broner won that fight, they was talking about. They asked him what is he going to do next, and he was talking about he might fight Regis Prograis. That's the fight that they was trying to make. They was trying to make the Regis Prograis fight. So they gave Adrian Broner the silver title because he's quote unquote the next in line to fight Regis Prograis, but Regis Prograis ended up getting the Devin Haney fight.
He said, facts, D-Free, facts. He said, D-Free, yep. Bertervalev might as well make a fight with Andre since he don't want to fight Benavidez. Benavidez might as well make a fight with Andre since he don't want to fight Morrell. David, my guy, but Morrell has been talking. You know what? To put like this, that's how you know David Benavidez is a fake tough guy, because I think Morrell said something about he would take his shoes and we rob goofballs like you, all this crazy gangster talk. I don't know. I don't know about all that. But one thing I'm gonna say there before being my brother D3 got in, man. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson going forward,
man? Shakur Stevenson, he's gonna have to fight somebody. He's gonna have to fight somebody because you're making this big fuss about getting 50-50 for Devin Haney's titles, even though Devin Haney offered you a fight, and quote unquote, you the B side when an A side offers you a shot, and this is a shot for you to get undisputed. One shot, you undisputed. You didn't earn that shot. He's offering it to you. You should have took it. So by you not taking it, you want to get a bigger split. Now you really gotta stand. You gotta hold up to the standards that you saying you are. You saying you better than a 25% split. You saying that you on the same level of a Devin Haney. Now we all know Devin Haney worked his way to getting that shot. He tried to get a fight with Loma. He tried to get the fight with Tio. He had to take a bad contract deal to fight Cambosa, even though he put his own foot in his mouth when he stepped in and said, "I'll take the same deal that Loma was getting," but he still took it. and he took it. He took and went over there and fought him twice in his own country. So Devin Haney worked for his undisputed. You was offered an opportunity to fight for undisputed, not having did anything at 135. You didn't really do anything at 130 neither. You was unified. I'll give you that. You was unified, but you didn't really do anything. I think you fought like 3 or 4 fights at 130. So you didn't really do anything at 130, and he gave you an opportunity to be undisputed. So you didn't take it. You wanted a bigger split. Now you gotta hold up to what you was telling everybody you were worth. So he's gonna have to. I mean, if he get this fight for the WBC title, if it's against Loma, he's gonna have to go out there and beat Loma just as bad or worse than what Devin did. Because, I mean, regardless of how people say they saw the fight, Loma went to the hospital after that fight. Devin went to a party. Loma went to the hospital. So a lot of people say Loma, they say Loma got robbed, but Loma was in the hospital bed later on that night.
He's in the hospital bed. Hey, one more fighter, man, before we get out of here. I gotta ask you about this guy. So tell me this. Now, you pretty fair and honest because you don't have a dog in the race. So how talented is Teofimo Lopez, or is he not talented? What do you think about him?
No, Teofimo Lopez, he's talented. The issue that I have with Teofimo is he's a diva and he has mental problems. That's the issue that I have with Teo. He because when Teo beat Loma, we was on Teo's side. We wanted Teo to be the takeover and fight Devin Haney next and go for the Tank Davis fights and all those other big fights. But then he started becoming a diva and he got big headed, and so that's the issue I have with him. But he's a talented fighter. He got power and he got boxing ability. We all saw that on display when he fought Josh Taylor, because I was one of the ones that thought Josh Taylor was just going to be too much for him. But he put on a boxing display on Josh Taylor, and so he got talent. I just don't know if his head is on straight. And one thing about boxing, you got to be in it mentally, because 90% of boxing is mental. So if you're not in it mentally, you're going to lose another big fight. And he lost to Kambosos, which a lot of people, I'm one of them, thought that he shouldn't have lost that fight. But I knew he was going to lose because of how he was playing the mind games with Devin Haney, and he kept prolonging the fight. He kept putting it off. So, I mean, it all depends on if he got his head on straight, how good he can be.
Hey, I say this. I agree with both the points you're making. I think the thing that's so crazy about it is that you got Shakur talking about what he did yesterday, and you got Teo talking about what he deserved. At the end of the day, I think more people got to do what Pretty Boy did. You got to go out there and earn it, man. One thing I always say about boxing is people forget that Andre Ward had to earn it. Bernard Hopkins had to earn it. I mean, me and you, I'm not both watch Roy Jones. Man, Roy Jones got 2 of the biggest wins on his resume in the last 50 years. He beat James Toney, who's better than him, and he beat Bernard Executioner Hopkins, who I thought lasted longer than Roy did. So, I mean, it's a lot of tough things in boxing, but really, man, we just getting an overload of guys not fighting the best. And I'll tell you like this, I won't believe in Shakur until he fights somebody under 30 years old. His last 4 fights been people over 30. So it's like you're going to look good versus some old dudes, but it's your boy at BVO Boxing. Hold on, let me read this. He said, what Shakur did yesterday wasn't much to get 50% for Undisputed. And then it's not going to be for Undisputed. So all he really did was take a belt from Devin to make the fight even smaller, because both of these guys are not popular. I mean, you are in the DMV. Is Shakur popular out there?
Shakur is popular to the people that watch boxing on a regular basis. Because we all know majority of people out here, they root for Tank Davis, they root for Gary Russell, they root for Gary Antoine. So he's popular because he came up with the Russells, and he came up with Tank Davis. They know who he is, but he's not a household name. Like, unless you watch boxing on a regular basis, you really wouldn't know who Shakur Stevenson is. Most people, you say you know who Shakur is, and they think about Tupac.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they're gonna think about is Tupac.
Yeah.
So if you're not watching boxing on a regular basis, you don't know who Shakur Stevenson is. Same thing with Devin Haney. If you're not watching boxing on a regular basis, you wouldn't know who Devin Haney is. Now Devin Haney's name is starting to get bigger because he beat Loma and he is undisputed at 135. So his name is getting bigger. It's just not as big as it should be, being though he's the undisputed champion at 135.
Did he beat Loma?
Yeah, he beat Loma.
What was your rounds? You do the rounds.
I had a 7-5. He beat Loma 7-5.
Well, let me ask you this: how come he looked like he's about to stop him in the 12th round, 11th round, better yet?
That was one of the rounds I gave Loma. That's one of the rounds I gave Loma.
Hey, D3, I thought you were gonna stop him, didn't you?
I really thought he was gonna stop him. I did. I thought he was gonna stop him. I was like, oh shit, Devin about to get stopped. I literally said that. I forgot who live I was on. I think I might have been on Southern T's live, and we sitting there watching. I'm like, oh shit, this nigga about to get stopped. And then the bell rung. I was like, ooh, he made it out. I literally thought he was going to get stopped.
His air, you know what's so funny? You gotta say, this guy Lomachenko is one of the most arrogant fighters we've seen in boxing. The fact that he thought he won the round to take the round off, that was just crazy.
You don't. Even if you thought you won the fight, even if you thought you was winning, and that's one of the reasons why I get at Oscar De La Hoya when he was fighting Trinidad, because Oscar thought he was winning that fight, and he played around the last 4 rounds of that fight, and he lost to Trinidad. But if you in the biggest fight, Lomachenko been trying for years to be undisputed. You got undisputed right there in front of you. All you got to do is beat Devin Haney. You do not. If he would have won that 12th round, I tell you, I lie to you not, he would have been undisputed. If he would have won that 12th round, he would have been undisputed. They would have gave it to Lomachenko. I'm telling you, they would have gave it to Lomachenko if he would have won that 12th round.
I just you know the thing about Lomachenko, he don't have the killer instinct. I mean, I don't understand how you about to stop a guy and then you lose to him. I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna say he don't have the killer instinct. I think the age is getting to him. Loma's 35. I think the age is getting to him. He's not the matrix that like he once was.
I'll put it like this. If he was in there with Gary Russell, man, Gary Russell would have stopped him.
Oh, Gary Russell. If Gary Russell would have had him hurt like this, Gary Russell would have stepped on the gas.
You remember,
especially if it was Antoine. If it was Antoine, Devin Haney might be still getting up right now. If that was Tank Davis, Devin Haney might be still getting up right now.
Hey, and all I'm saying is, to be fair, I'm starting to believe Devin Haney's overrated, bro. What do you think?
I'm not gonna say he's overrated. Now, Devin Haney's a hell of a boxer. What I see from Devin Haney is what y'all always say about Boots. Devin Haney plays to the crowd. He tried to go in there and knock these guys out. We know you don't have knockout power. Just go out there and do what you do. You box. Outbox them. You don't have to be a knockout artist. Yeah, knockouts is cool. People like to see knockouts. But what's better is a win. That's what's better. If you get the knockout, you get the knockout. But if you don't get the knockout and you get an L, then you look like a fool. So get the win. That's what you need to secure. You secure the win. Everybody will join ship sooner or later. You keep racking up wins. Sooner or later, they're going to join ship. You starting to get your name up there because you're getting wins. You don't have to go out there and prove that you're a knockout artist because we know that you're not.
Hey, but I'm gonna say this, man. I feel like it's midnight, and I feel like Devin Haney, man, that showed us, man, that he don't have what it takes at the next level because he don't got enough power, and he fight like an amateur fighter still. I think he got a lot of talent, man, but I think he got to get a better trainer. Who you think would be a better trainer for him?
A better trainer for Devin Haney? To be honest with you, Floyd. He need to go with Floyd. I mean,
is Floyd training?
Floyd will train him?
No, what I'm saying is Floyd training because I don't know if you've seen Shakur.
Oh, you talking about is he training as far as training the other fighters?
Yeah, actively. Is he training or
no,
not?
He's not actively training nobody. He helps young fighters out in the gym. I mean, in his gym, he'll help young fighters out in the gym and give them pointers and stuff. Same stuff he did with Tank Davis, give him pointers here and there. He never trained Tank Davis. He just showed Tank Davis what he needed to do, how to react when certain things happen. But he never trained Tank Davis. Tank Davis always had his own trainers, which was Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny. But he gave him pointers.
He said a better trainer for Devin would be Sugar Hill. You think that'd be a good matchup for him?
I don't really care for Sugar Hill. I don't really care for Sugar Hill. Look at Nico Wash. I don't really care for Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill, boy, your boys getting their ass whooped. It's 12-0. I said they was gonna lose. I said they was gonna lose 12-10. It's 12-0.
Hey, of course, D3 want to talk about the Browns, man. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? If you didn't know, the Browns won it all this year.
But no, I don't really care for Sugar Hill. I think actually I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you who would be a hell of a trainer for Devin Haney. Either he get Zab Judah's father, or he go get Buddy McGirt.
You know who I think would be good for him? Kenny Porter.
Kenny Porter is another one because
you know why?
Kenny Porter gonna stay on his ass.
And that's what he needs. He need a guy like Kenny Porter to go in there and get him in. Because I think Devin Haney, needs to get in better shape because he really be fading, man. He need to get in better shape. He said, I'll tell y'all what, mark my words, when Carmelo starts whooping Jamil, y'all going to see how trash Derrick James is. He said Devin needs to put his combinations together because right now he's too young to be pop shot and 1-2 jab. Devin Haney is very basic, man.
Devin Haney, what Devin Haney needs to, I'm gonna tell you what he really needs in order for him to gain more power on his punches. What he needs is a strength and conditioning coach. That's what he needs. He needs somebody that's gonna show him how to carry his power and how to land those big shots because
like a Larry Wade.
Yeah. Or he can get Blu-ray. Blu-ray said he'll come out there and work with Devin Haney once he moved to 140 if that's something that Bill Haney want to do. But that's what he needs. He needs a strength and condition coach.
He said you can't compare Nico Wash and up and coming to Devin Haney. Nico Wash is a bum. At the end of the day, Nico Wash ain't fought nobody. He just got the whole Ali name. He's a bum. He get in there with any. He get in there with any.
Nobody yet.
He get in there with any real middleweight. He gonna get beat to death, man. He stinks.
Yeah, but he only got 5-6 fights. I don't expect him to fight nobody yet. He ain't got number like 5 or 6 fights. I mean, I don't like him. I don't like him because I'm not gonna say I don't like him. I don't like the fact how they keep talking about Muhammad Ali every time they show him. They got to talk about this Muhammad Ali grandson. We already know that. You ain't got to say this every single time you fight. You don't have to show his mother every single fight. I'm like, you keep showing it. It was good when he first came out. Now the shit is old. I'm like, okay, now y'all just going overboard with this shit.
He said Buddy would be good. He said, Vic, what he said, Buddy McGirt is where fighters go to die.
Actually, no. Buddy McGirt got a couple of good fighters right now. He got a couple of good fighters right now.
You know, it's funny. People won't believe it. It'll never happen. But I think Gary Russell be real good for Devin Haney because some of the stuff I heard.
There's so much animosity between them two.
But no, what I'm saying is when I heard Gary Russell break down what Devin need to work on, I thought it was spot on. It was spot on. He was talking about how he don't come over the overhand right, how he not throwing his punches, how he not twisting his hips. And I'm telling you, a guy like Gary Russell Jr. could change Devin Haney as a fighter, man.
Gary Russell would be a good trainer if they can get over the animosity between the two. If they can get over that, but it
was all Bill. It wasn't Devin. It was all Bill.
Yeah, I mean it was Bill, but I mean your father talking shit and the dude talking shit to your father, you gonna back your father, so it's gonna be animal. That's just like if it was me and you and my father was talking shit to you and you talking shit to my father. Of course I'm gonna back my father, even though I ain't got no beef with you. You still talking shit to my father. I'm gonna back my father.
I see what you said. He said, yeah, Yoel Judah will definitely be a good coach, specifically on offense. Definitely to train with Blu-ray. Blu-ray would be a good guy for him. I think him, Blu-ray, Larry Wade, any of those top trainers, I think Devin Haney's not in good enough shape. I think that's his main thing. He's not in good enough shape.
I mean, I said that after he fought Kambosa. I said
He looked gassed.
I wouldn't say he looked gassed. He went in there the second fight. The first fight it was just all jabs. He just washed Kambosa the first fight. The second fight, I think he went in there to knock Kambosa out, and we saw that he just don't have the power. He don't have the power because Kambosa, he ain't got the strongest chin in the world. That man, he's been dropped a couple of times. He ain't got the strongest chin in the world, and Devin Haney was hitting that man with everything but the kitchen sink, and that man was not going up. No, that man was bleeding from every part of his face that he could bleed from. He just wasn't going nowhere. I'm sitting like, this nigga hitting him with everything. This nigga's not going nowhere. Devin Haney, you ain't gonna knock him out. Just go back to boxing, though. Just go back to boxing. You ain't knocking him out.
We see Maxie Hughes almost stop Kambosa. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. This Devin Haney was hitting that man with everything, and Kambosa was not going nowhere. I'm like, God damn, dog. Do you
ain't got
the right gloves on? Do you got on those gloves?
Hey, it's funny because he was knocking out them bombs when he first came out. He was knocking bombs clean out. Then he get in there with the big boys. You can't do it. But like I said, man, we having fun. Like I said, this is episode 1. We coming back. We're gonna let y'all know. I think we might cover that Kambosa. Who was that? Oscar Valdez versus Navarrete.
We got some fights this weekend. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not real big on this daggone Nick and what's the white boy name? You know the YouTuber.
Oh yeah, Logan Paul.
Yeah,
no, Jake Paul. Jake
Paul. Yeah, I'm not real big on Jake Paul and nothing like that. I'm gonna watch it, but I mean it ain't nothing major. I think we got Amanda Serrano fighting on the undercard.
Yeah, we gotta cover that. You know why? Jake Paul's from Ohio, man.
What I'd say is this, Murder. It's us Ohio boys. You know how we get, you know how us Ohio niggas get out, nigga? Ohio nigga, double O. What's up, yo?
Yeah.
Columbus, Akron, Cleveland, Springfield, Dayton, Youngstown. What's up, y'all? Cincinnati, too. I forget about.
Hey, he from Ohio.
Do you know Jake Paul was hanging with Cameron when he did that damn interview?
He said, gotta go back to work, fellas. Been real. I'm a holler. Salute to my man. GD, man. Strong supporter. Comes to rolling with the punches, man. We back. We got my brother D Free, BVO. We coming in having fun, man. You gonna watch me go ahead and assault D Free every day. When we get on here, you see I'm gonna beat him every day in debate. It's your boy. You know how we do.
He gonna try.
Hey, because we know this about D Free, man.
Don't know shit about boxing. Don't know shit.
Hey,
one thing they know about D Free is I'm gonna roll with punches.
Hey, and we got a system of love, man. We don't never talk about this guy. I don't want to take some time into the show to talk about the great Roger Mayweather, man. One of the best trainers, one of the best fighters boxing the scene, one of the best boxing minds. We missed the Black Mamba. Kobe stole his name. I don't care what nobody say. You're a fanboy if you don't give the Black Mamba his credit, because man, that brother was terrific, man. To be able to turn his nephew into one of the best fighters of all time, that can't go missed. Go ahead.
You know what we didn't cover though?
What's that?
We didn't cover how the WBO was going to strip Jamel for going up to fight Canelo.
What you think about that? I forgot all about that.
I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Because this man going up to fight Canelo. Y'all always talk about Canelo daring to be great. This man Janelle is going up 2 weight classes. Yeah, 2 weight classes to fight Canelo for his undisputed title. So I'm like, y'all didn't call Tim Tszyu as the mandatory. No, y'all had Tim Tszyu fight Tony Harrison, but y'all never called him as the mandatory. Now, if y'all would have called him as the mandatory, then like they did with the Devin Haney situation, I could see y'all say, okay, yeah, well, you going up to fight Canelo, well, we still want to make some money off this belt, so we're gonna take this belt and put you on recess like the WBC did Devin Haney. But that shit is crazy. I'm like, this man going up to fight Canelo, so that's one of the reasons why I think if they do take that title from him and he fight Canelo, I mean, I think he might beat Canelo. I really think he's gonna beat Canelo because I think Canelo he's just
over the hill. He's over the hill.
Yeah, he's over the hill. He got too much wear and tear on those legs. He can't move. He can't move. He never really moved around the ring anyway, but he's even less mobile now. And he just looked bad in his last 3 fights. The last 3 fights, that man looked bad. It started with the Bivol fight, and then he fought Golovkin, and that didn't look good. And then he fought John Ryder, and that definitely
that looked horrible.
I'm like, John Ryder? I'm like, you got John Ryder out there joining like a world beater.
You said, how can you hate Mel daring to be great? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
I think what it is, man, and I hate to say this, bro, it's just race, man. It's race, bro.
That's what I was saying to you when we was all blind. It's like the black fighters always gotta follow the line. They gotta follow the rules to the T. But everybody else can do whatever they want to do. They can bend the rules here, bend the rules there, and they don't do nothing to them. But when it comes to the black fighters, they gotta follow the line all the way down. And you better not step to the left. You better not step to the right. You better not look like you drunk, or we pulling it.
Hey, and at the end of the day, I put like this: when Jamel go up to 168, he's not coming back down. So it really don't matter. He's not coming back down.
Yeah, if he come back down, he's only coming down to 160. He's not coming down to 154. I highly doubt that he will go to 68 and then drain himself all the way back down to the 54 because he's already draining himself down now because Jamel, I mean, whether people know it or not, Jamel walks around. What's going on, A1? Jamel walks around at like 180, 190, and he drained himself down to get to 54.
Yeah.
So,
and the funny thing, you say y'all, you're right. They don't hate on Mikey Garcia going up to 147 to fight Errol Spence, but they did. At the end of the day, black and Spanish fighters, mainly black fighters though, but they did strip Mikey. When Mikey went up, he vacated his WBC belt. So
he vacated it though. They didn't strip him. He vacated because remember when Leo Santa Cruz went up, like I was telling you before, Leo Santa Cruz went up tight. He still had his what belt did he have?
WBA.
Yeah, WBA. He had his WBA at 126. He kept his WBA. He went up to 130, got knocked out by Tank Davis, came right back down, and kept his WBA belt. He still has it. So, I mean, they do it to the fighters that they want to do it to. They won't. I mean, well, they do it to the black fighters. They won't do it to nobody else.
Salute to my man A1 Hoop Zone. Hey, and just remember, man, the Lakers coming back. A1. I know you like your hoops, man. The Lakers gonna be back. Then he said, my man Josh said,
"What a Laker fan."
Oh, okay, so that's good.
Yeah, Laker fan.
I wish we would trade that. I wish we would trade Anthony Davis, but that's too much for me to wish for.
What? Hey, speaking of Lakers, what LeBron doing? Is he coming back?
Yeah, he coming back. Back. I don't think his son. I'll put like this: his son not gonna make it to the NBA, man. I don't see it.
I ain't gonna say he ain't gonna make it.
He had a heart attack, D-Free. He had a heart attack, bro.
I mean, yeah, he had it, but they said he's fine, and he stayed in the hospital. I think like 1 or 2 days, and then he was home. He's fine. I mean, they just showed up. They did an interview like 2 days later after he came home, but he's good. I think he's gonna be all right.
Hey man, you talking about somebody having a cardiac arrest, man? That's serious. I mean,
it all depends on what caused it. I mean, we don't know exactly what caused it. So it all depends on what caused it. If it has something to do with the fact that he was out there and his heart just couldn't take the workout, then yeah, he might not be able to make it. But if it ain't had nothing to do with that, it was just just a freak accident and he just had a cardiac arrest, then he might be all right. It wouldn't be the first time that somebody had a cardiac arrest and came back and continued playing basketball.
Well, let me ask you this, man. So who you got with Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul? Who you got?
I want Nate Diaz to win, but I think Jake Paul will win because Nate Diaz, the one thing I know about Nate Diaz, he don't have no defense.
He like to bleed too. He like to bleed.
I was a Nate Diaz fan in the UFC, and he just don't have no defense. Now he could take a punch and he gonna keep coming, but he don't have no defense. And you boxing, you're not fighting. So you going in here with somebody that's been boxing longer than you, and he's getting better at boxing. Now he's not nobody that I would say, hey, y'all need to keep an eye on Jake Paul, but he's getting better at it. But Nate Diaz is not just that. I mean, we saw what happened when Jake Paul went against an actual boxer. He got his ass whooped.
He said, what your boy Josh say? Paul gonna knock him out, or the ref gonna stop the fight. All the blood. You know, it's funny because Nate Diaz be bleeding like a pig. He said all the blood because Diaz be leaking. Hey, so we're gonna cover that fight. We're gonna give Jake Paul his proper due. We're gonna cover that fight D3 or what? We gotta cover that fight, man.
I mean, we covering it's not for the fact of Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, it's more so because of Amanda Serrano. Yeah. That's the main reason why I'm watching it, because of Amanda.
Will she ever fight Alicia Bungana, you think? At 130? You think she'll come to 130?
I don't know. I mean, that would be a good fight. That would be a good fight.
She's been at 126 a long time, man.
That would be a good fight. I think. I don't know. I don't even know how I would. I don't even know which direction I would go with that fight, because both of them got decent boxing ability, and both of them got decent power. The one thing that I will say is, Alicia, she's starting to look like her trainer. She having stamina issues. She can't keep her stamina. She be getting tired in the ring.
She do be looking like Tony, don't she?
She's starting to look just like her trainer. She be having, after round 6, she be out that joint looking tired. So, and the one thing I will say about Amanda Serrano, she gonna keep coming. She got stamina for days. She gonna keep coming.
Hey, and you know the funny thing about it, man?
I might lean towards Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano, yeah. That's a good point you made, because Serrano, that you said that would be a 50-50 fight. I would pick Bungana because of what I've seen with the skill. But like you said, she's looking a lot like Tony. I don't know if Tony don't run or what, but she be gassing out just like Tony. I mean, she gassed out her last 2 fights.
He needed to take. I mean, he never did it himself, so I don't know if I could tell him to do it to her, because she needed to hit the road. She needed to do some road run, run on the road and get her stamina up, but Tony was never a runner either. He always had stamina problems. So if you got a trainer that always got stamina problems, I mean, he don't really know how to correct it, because he never corrected it for himself.
Yeah, he just like to get beat up. Willie Nelson, you know, Jamal, what was his name? Jared Swift Hurd. And then Jamel finally retired him. Oh, and my bad, Tim Tszyu, the new guy. So I mean, you got a guy who's been knocked out 4 times. I mean, that take a lot to get knocked out 4 times. Hey,
actually, the first fight, I thought Jamel won the first fight. I think Jamel was losing the second fight until he knocked him out. I thought Jamel won.
He was losing the second fight for sure.
Yeah, I thought Jamel won the first fight, and he was losing the second fight until he knocked him out.
I like what my man Tony said. And then he got knocked out.
Well, he won.
That's what I was saying. He doing all that and then get knocked out.
You doing all that showing off and you go to sleep.
Go right to bed. Hey, but it's your boy BVO, it's your boy D3, man. We go on until next time. Like I said, this episode 1. We're going to keep going, man. So all those other podcasts, y'all keep watching out, man. The Black Skip Bellies is back. All right, we go. Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.